Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part podcast, you have the U.S. accusing RealPage and assisting landlords in price collusion. Now, this comes to us thanks to ex-EO, specifically April Rubin, who's a writer over there. Now, you can see the iconic RealPage logo, which, interestingly enough, it's not an actual page from a book or a phone book. It's just 3 dots in the shape of a triangle, which I suppose is unique. It's an interesting choice they went with there. Now, you can see the little phone app there. They say, quote, the Department of Justice filed an antitrust lawsuit against RealPage, a property management software company, for allegedly, quote, unlawful scheme to reduce competition in the apartment rental market and secure a monopoly for itself. They say, quote, why it matters, RealPage uses a trove of data to help some of the country's biggest landlords set apartment rental prices. According to the suit, it's helping them artificially inflate prices for the renters in the country. They say, driving the news, the complaint argues RealPage drives up the rental costs across the board by pulling the rates and lease rates of landlords who should be competing using its algorithm to recommend the rents that they charge. The Attorney Generals of North Carolina, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Minnesota, Oregon, Tennessee, and Washington were also the plaintiffs. They say the plaintiff RealPage has an 80%, again, 80% market share in commercial revenue management software for multifamily units. That, according to the Department of Justice in a statement, they said, quote, in a free market, these landlords would otherwise be competing independently to attract renters based on pricing, discounts, and concessions, lease terms, and other dimensions of apartment leasing. There are mechanisms within the software to encourage landlords to accept the prices recommended by its algorithm, which, quote, tends to maximize price increases, minimize price decreases, and maximize landlords' pricing power, unquote. So these landowner, these property management companies are using software that tells them the price that will give them the most profitable outcome. Not seeing anything unusual thus far. Now, they say that, quote, the other side of the RealPage software was built to be legally compliant. General Bostock, a RealPage spokesperson, said the company has collaborated with the Department of Justice on antitrust matters per Bowick. Bowick says, quote, it's merely a distraction from the fundamental economic and political issues driving the inflation throughout the country, and housing affordability in particular, which should be a focus on policymakers in Washington, D.C. Now, they also say a lawsuit filed last year in D.C. similarly accused the RealPage of being responsible for high rents across the board. Of course, it's not the government's fault. It's this private business's fault for telling landlords the rates, which, I mean, it would be a pain in the rear, but if you're a landlord and you want to do that manually, you could go online to look at all the different rates for sale. You could cold call all the different places around you that are charging rates and see what the rates are going for. With the information we have thus far, it seems as if this software just makes it a hell of a lot easier to aggregate, consolidate all of that data, and then give you a recommendation. And of course, the government, to me, again, my 3 cents, it used to be 2 cents, but 40-year hyperinflation, the government will blame anyone else on the planet except themselves. So I think the only thing that might happen in terms of any changes and again, this right now is not, I mean, having 80% of the market might be the red flags. I mean, but in terms of just raising the prices, the price collusion, you're literally just telling people what the rates are locally and what other similar houses that management companies are charging. I'm a little skeptical to see what the final outcome will be for this, but yeah, let me know in the comments. And actually, I know this is fascinating because a lot of softwares actually the average person might not know, because again, this is a software that's a business-to-business software. They're actually selling this to businesses, not end users. Have you ever heard of RealPage before? Do you think they'll actually win this lawsuit? They'll successfully defend themselves? Let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.